right, now it is that time of the show where we get to understand what is happening among us, those key topics that some of you have definitely been engaging into. And this time round, tell you what, I think this particular topic will interest most of you. I will be joined by a number of guests discussing the topic here, very sensitive topic, but I do believe most of the Ugandans are using social media, and to be precise, the Twitter app. It has actually become more dominant in this country for the last 2 years. And if at all you don't have a Twitter handle or you haven't engaged in one of the Twitter topics, then you might be missing out. Because if you're to look at the last 1 year in terms of statistics that are coming up, Uganda's use of social media, saying most of the users try as much as they can to attempt logging into Twitter. I think Twitter now has more users than any other social media platform in Uganda, followed by Pinterest, then comes in Facebook. And we do understand why Facebook now falls in third place. For the last 2 years, we had issues regarding Facebook, and you could only log in if I told you had VPN. Joining me on set to discuss life into a social media influencer and to understand the life of social media influencers, and furthermore also, we're also going to look at that issue where social media influencers may be taxed by Uganda Revenue Authority. And on set with me, I do have a social media influencer, a man who is actually making huge statements on the Twitter app and on Instagram. Please allow me welcome Mr. Lone Child. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Joram. I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
Thank you for the invite, and yeah, I think I'm ready to kick off.
All right, Lone Child. First of all, let's first get there. Lone Child. Why Lone Child of all names? I can only try to imagine. Maybe you started a Lone Child as a Twitter name, or
not really. My real names are Murungi James. Murungi James. Yeah, I'm a proud Motoro from Fort Portal.
Okay.
Lone Child comes in as a stage name, nickname, or the name that makes the money.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's a simple, self-explanatory. I was born alone. I have no biological siblings, so yeah, that's where the name comes from.
All right, Lone, let's start from there. Who is a social media influencer to, if you are to just give us a brief breakdown of a social media influencer? We've seen the rise of social media influencers in the last 3 or 4 years back. Then we were wondering, who is a social media influencer? What makes one a social media influencer?
In my opinion, a social media influencer is someone who has probably numbers on social media and could influence a few people to for example, influencers are categorized in different sectors, because there are those who are influencers in the sports, travel influencers, there are those ones who are in events. So probably everyone who has numbers on social media has influence on different kinds of people.
Okay.
So yeah, basically those are people who influence people on social media too.
All right, Lone, if to look at that, we've seen the rise of social media influencers in the last, let me just summarize it up in 5 years.
Yeah.
And where do you attach this rise? Where do you think has been the rise of influencers? Because now I pretty much guess there are quite a number. Not too many though, but there are quite dominant names in the industry of influencers.
First of all, we are moving into a digital world, completely digital. Everything is going digital, marketing, especially the marketing. Everything is going digital. Technology is developing at a very fast pace. So a lot of people are joining social media. These days, most of the companies really consider social media influencing as a big deal. So those who are growing, the number of people that are joining social media, let it be TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the number is really rising, and those who have stood out and taken advantage of this opportunity to grow their numbers and have a hand or maybe influence in this whole social media thing. So
now let's talk about how you schedule your posting related tasks. I believe you people have a lot of, you will visit someone's timeline and say, Lone Child's timeline, today he's posting about betting. The next day you see Lone Child posting about something to do with MTN. There's MTN Pulse, and then you listen to Then you'll be scrolling down, you see Lone Child in the same day tweeting something about the ministry.
Yeah.
So how do you schedule this and how do you manage them?
It depends on the number of campaigns you're running. There are these campaigns that you need to run live. You have to tweet what's happening live, like an event is happening and you have to be tweeting live. Those ones you don't have to schedule your posting. You just have to be on ground and you're tweeting what's happening and all that. Then there are these campaigns that could run for a month, and you have probably, depending on the KPIs that you have to meet as an influencer. Let me say you have you're supposed to release 3 tweets per day. Yeah, so before you go to bed, I'm talking on my behalf. Yeah, before I go to bed, I normally schedule my tweets. I either put them in drafts, or there are those apps that you can use that can automatically throw a tweet at the time you need it to be put. So that's how you do it, to avoid, because sometimes you can get busy during daytime and you don't get time to make those tweets. So you schedule them the night before you sleep. So in the morning, go during daytime, morning, afternoon, you just have to drop them without thinking hard.
And if you were to think of a moment, there is no one that threatens the job of a journalist like a social media influencer. At the time when you look at these bloggers out there, because now social media influencers are doing multiple tasks on the different apps. They do a lot of the things, and still, let's look at how do you get these opportunities, these gigs. How do you get these gigs? Because I do believe you're going to, at one point, you're going to see Lone Child today on a corporate event. The next day you'll see him on an NGO or something, and fundraising. How do you get these gigs? How do you get these connections?
Some of these connections are through friends, like networking. You see Twitter. Let me say, for example, I'm going to use Twitter because that's where I major. You make as many friends as you can on the app because opportunities come from these friends. Some of these gigs, let me say, for example, Joram, you come and be like, hey, Lone Child, there is this campaign and, they're giving this kind of money and they need you to do this running for this amount of time. If it suits
You're planning. We're actually going to come to that and see how you people are even earning this.
I will definitely put a stamp to it and I will come through. Then there are also these gigs that come through straight from the people that are working in these organizations. But these people follow up. They are on these apps. They see you on Twitter. You might not know them, but they see you undercover. They will just come to your DM, and I would advise anyone who would, if you're on social media, you're on Twitter, and you want to get these gigs, better you leave your DM open for everyone to access.
Non-private.
There are those who make their DMs private. You can't access their DMs if they're not following you, if you're not following them. So my DM is open. Someone will come straight to your DM and be like, hi, Lone Child, I have this campaign and I think you qualify to, I think you would, bring results on the table if you join the team. So some of these people approach you directly, and sometimes it would be through friends that might bring you these gigs. So
now let's talk about the accounts being suspended. We've seen accounts getting suspended. We've seen people losing their accounts. I hear to, let's say, online fraudsters who normally trick you into it. Have you ever encountered this, and normally how does it happen?
Twitter accounts being suspended and fraudsters. Let me start with Twitter accounts being suspended. Twitter has a set of rules, or any other social media, not only Twitter, even TikTok, Instagram. They have rules that you have to, if you need to get time and sit down and read those rules to avoid being suspended, because there are those who break the rules out of ignorance. You're not aware. You can make a joke, which Twitter will not take as a joke. They look at it like a threat. For example, let me say we are interacting, Joram, on social media, and then I make a joke. I will be like, I will kill you. You get just a joke. I will kill you. You get. Twitter has an automatic. It automatically senses it as a threat.
Okay.
You're inciting violence
on someone.
You want to kill someone, they will definitely suspend you. There are also copyright rules.
Okay.
Copyright rules, those people don't know about that. For example, let me say if I post a video and I went and got someone's song, let me say Justin Bieber's song, and put it in the background and posted it on Twitter, there is a possibility of my account being suspended.
Okay.
You know, those songs come with copyright, so you can easily get suspended. There are very many other rules as Twitter has very many rules, so it needs time. It needs someone to have time to sit down and read those rules so that they can understand them.
Now let's get a little to people who have actually been losing their Twitter accounts to fraudsters. What happens? Sometimes I receive, let's say, a link into your DM and someone tells you, click onto this, you're going to win goodies. I've heard they're a bit tricky. How does it happen?
They come in many ways. Someone could even know the kind of things you're interested in. Let me say you're interested in, let me say you're into photography. Someone will come with a photography link and be like, hey, tap this link, it will bring you photography opportunities, blah, blah, blah. You'll tap and you'll log in and your account will be gone. So I would advise anyone out there, avoid tapping those random links people send you in the DM. Most of those links are hack links.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a matter of you tapping the link and putting in because they normally ask you to put in your email address and password. And the moment you log in,
you're gone.
They already have your information. They will immediately take away your account. So avoid replying or tapping such links. I never tap those links because I know.
At least you're more informed than what people are actually experiencing. When you look at this situation that is actually happening across the country, we're going to talk about something very interesting here.
Yes.
A very huge topic. I do believe social media influencers have been making the money. They are still making the money. And I believe once the revenue collectors realize, and the gentleman we have in studio is actually a very good social media influencer in terms of the revenue collectors, more so on the football side. So I believe this topic will be touchy to him. So we are going to try as much as we can to build on that discussion. Because imagine a situation where you've been tweeting, maybe you started tweeting for love and passion.
True.
And then at the time, the money starts coming in. And then government thinks, okay, now there's money there. If there is money there, then that means that is a job. Now let's look at this angle. First, before we even go there, should we consider social media influencing as a job or a side hustle?
Social media influencing shouldn't be considered as a job or a main job that, hey, I'm a social media influencer and that's what you do, because you can't, it's not reliable 100%. Yeah, you can't rely on it 100%. You should be considered as a side hustle. That's why I wouldn't find it necessary for URA to come and tax influencers. I don't think it's really necessary. Yeah, because I don't know how I'm going to tax them. Is it per gig, per month? Because even an influencer can spend 2 months without getting a single gig.
Then that means you're not going to, if they're taxing per month, even your small money you get in, exactly, the due cost, someone will just say, now we need a percentage of that.
No, it's not necessary to tax social media influencers. And social and influencing should not be seen as a side, should not be seen as a main hustle. It should be seen as a side hustle.
All right. So I think as Lone Child does reveal, it is better to consider this as a side hustle. Lone Child has been actually making a lot of rounds. I think most of you have been posting some of these. I've seen people posting things on status. Lone Child makes a tweet and you post. I've seen a number of people through that. Well, let's also look at this discussion. Yes. Later on, we're also going to be joined by another influencer in Methia Lydia, who is also going to come through to discuss something on that side. I believe we have a wide range of social media influencers in the country, and Methia will also be giving us an angle of the ladies' side. But let's look at this. Why do you believe, like if you to look at that, why do you think social media influencers, or do you think social media influencers are underrated?
Yeah, they are underrated. Social media influencers are underrated in a way that they, I would love to say, we do a great job, especially when it comes to the marketing bit of it. You see, most of these events, corporate events, entertainment events, most of these events, most of them are successful because of influencers. You see, today, let me use an example of TikTok. Today, a song will go viral.
Because of the TikTok challenge.
Time will come and managers will not have that much work to do. It's because of social media influencers. A song will be released today. Within 1 week, it's everywhere because of TikTok. Influencers are making it go viral. So I think they play a role, especially in the marketing sector.
Oh.
Yeah, so I feel like we are underrated.
You know, when someone tells you they're underrated, underrating someone is very, you know, it comes in many ways, by the way, sometimes. People tend to underrate the work of most of the social media influencers because maybe they believe it is like I said, it is supposed to be a side hustle, according to Lone Child, so it should not be considered as a main job for many, though I do believe there are a number of people who have actually got a lot of money out of it. And as a matter of fact, you can also look at that and say, well, they shouldn't be underrated. I think during the election period, it was the same reason as to why the internet in Uganda was turned down, because social media influencers were making huge rounds and maybe posing a threat in one way or the other. Because with this simple conversation, I would want to ask Lone Child to help me understand whether the social media influencers are posing a threat to to national security, because you know sometimes it's actually hard to tell whether social media, like you said, you don't need to underrate the power of a social media influencer whatsoever. With the figures that I actually started with, I did say that now Twitter has more social media users than any other platform on the internet in Uganda, and coming second is Pinterest. When I got a discussion into someone who's more into internet, told me the reason as why Pinterest comes in second is because people who are following trends, let's say videos or pictures, always look out for most of these poses and all these trends on Pinterest. That is why Pinterest came in second. And in third place, Facebook comes in there. Facebook was predominantly around social media users the last 10 years. Things did change. But still on set with me, I'm joined by Methia Lydia Nabawana. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. I think you're going to also help us build from there. Lone Child, let me first get back to you before Methia comes in.
Yes.
Let's talk the money. How much on a good day, if you were to give me a simple range, can a social media influencer earn?
I will speak on my behalf because not all of us earn the same.
Okay.
Yeah. You could even earn 400,000 a day.
Per gig?
Per gig. You could get a gig, let me say a month, if a month has gone well for you and you've not got any gig dry spell, you could even walk out with $1 million plus.
Okay.
Yes.
If you've collectively done things, I don't know why Methia was laughing on that particular topic. Methia, first take us from there. Methia, on a good day.
No, but then he's right. Here's the thing. You make different money as influencers. Like you said, I could make like 1 M even in just 1 day, or even 400, 500. It depends on the gig. There's some gigs that really pay off like really well. So if you're good at saving your money, could be a millionaire by the end of the month.
By the end of the month. Let's talk about the minimum part of it. Okay. So on a bad day, because I do believe on a good day you may make, like you said, 400.
Actually,
even
bad
1 million.
Bad days are very many. You could spend a whole week when you've not gotten a single coin from social media. I would say if a month has gone bad, you can even live without anything in a month. That's why I was telling you previously that there is no need to tax us. So you could go a month without a gig.
No, but then, okay, picking up from there, one of the strategies I've built as an influencer so that I don't end the month without a single coin, I strategize on those monthly kind of gigs. Like, let's say I'm working with Jumia, and then you have to make sure you have like so many people you're working with, so that even if this doesn't come through, you have something at the end of the month.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about declining sponsorship. Let's say declining gigs. Have you ever reached a time when you feel like, no, I'm not doing this? Why?
There are so many reasons. First, I would say if I don't relate with a gig, there's so many people that want to work with you. Personally, I am not a sports person. So if I get someone who wants me to talk about sports, however much they are paying me a lot of money, if I don't understand the gig, I am not doing it. So I would decline it because not because they're giving me very little money, but because I don't understand it, and I don't want to talk to my people about things I don't understand. You get? So yeah, that's the time I would decline it.
Lonja, when would you decline the money?
First of all, if the gig does not align with my values or my principles, yeah, they could bring me, especially. I'm speaking on my behalf. There are gigs that I will not touch. Even if you bring how much, let's say things that are controversial with religion, politics, I'll step out because that's not my thing. Secondly, it could be the money. Yeah, if the money does not, if I look at the gig that is coming and I feel like I should get a certain amount of money, if you cannot reach to or comply by what I'm asking for, then I think I would decline the gig.
Well, I guess I do have influencers here who don't want to talk a lot of politics. So they're just filled up with vibes only. So let's try to also talk about something like one. I've seen a number of high school students, trying to build social media platforms, to be precise, Twitter. Let's first talk about the good side of that. Because I believe the reason that's why they're being inspired is because there is some good thing they've realized about social media, and that is why they are pushing so hard to get it. If you're to just, in a nutshell, to take us through, what are those good benefits that you look at and you say, this has changed because of social media?
Are you looking at maybe like someone's life, like maybe my life changed?
Exactly.
Personally, I would say my life has changed because of social media. If I was not doing social media, most probably I wouldn't be where I am. I would not be the maker that I am. So I think you're trying to ask whether we advise these guys in school to actually
go for that.
I would say yes, because yes, we go to school to like study, talk about different things, like learn and understand geography, science, and all those things. They will help you in the future. And for some reason, I do not stop anyone from going to school and studying. But at the end of the day, I feel like social capital is important, and you really need to build your socials. If you're one person who wants publicity and visibility, like that kind of awareness for your products, you can become a doctor, but then you need a social media page or a Twitter page or something like that, and then you probably need to show people what you do. So I think it's a good idea. They can go to school, but at the end of the day, come back and build your socials if you can, because there's good money on social media.
Lonja, let's take it from there as well. Benefits and any advice do you think?
Yeah, she made a very good point there, because like I said, social media is now the thing when it comes to marketing. Me personally, I am into tours and travel. I started up my own tours and travel company recently, if you've heard of Zion Adventures. And I would like to say that social media has helped me run it. You understand? It has helped me. I've used my audience to get clients
that have supported
my hustle. And that's all because of social media. I'm 100% sure if I was not on social media, if I had not grown my numbers on social media, I wouldn't be able to run that business easily. Or maybe I'll be the one to pay other influencers to advertise for me, but I don't need to do that because I can do it myself.
True.
Yeah. And like she said, you need to build your socials. Social capital is very, very important. You can never know. There are a lot of opportunities that come around, and that's, you have to make the right socials, though. Yeah, you have to make the right friends, because not every person you meet on social media is going to be productive to you. Those are just going to waste your time. So you need to build your socials that in a good way, that they are going to help you build or be developmental.
All right, now when we after the break, we're going to discuss a lot of things. One, we're going to talk about the trends. Who sets these trends? I don't believe some of these social media influencers come up with a trend very early in the morning. You will be scrolling down your timeline and you're like seeing a word or sirike the whole week. It is still trending. That's a very big question there. And when you look at the situation, that is why I said most of the journalists are almost bowing out with the fact that there's a rise of social media influencers. At any one point, someone does a lot of things. Look at the marketing part of it. most of these people are definitely good at the marketing strategies. They have the numbers on social media. And when someone has a number, has a huge following on social media, it's definitely a go-getter for them in terms of marketing. They have the people they are addressing. They have a very big reach of people. And when you look at marketing, if you have the numbers, definitely you have the money coming through. So that's a very big threat to not only the people in the marketing. Imagine someone making money in the comfort of their living room or in the comfort of their bed. It's very simple. Sometimes we are told to work smart, not working very hard. Someone can wake up very late in the night but still making money. And then you wake up very early in the morning and you're not making that much money. I'm not throwing any bias whatsoever, but you just need to play your cards right. This discussion is understanding the life of a social media influencer. Many influencers have been growing in Uganda. Many have been facing challenges saying, this one is not a social media influencer. We've seen even politicians looking for social media influencers in Uganda to throw out their campaigns. The two I have here on set say they do not want to talk about politics because they believe that one is related to national things that are related to national interest. May actually require a drone in the process. So if they do not want to look that, you can clearly see they are more about the money and making sure that they inform you in information regarding business. We are Smart 24 TV. We drive the business. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko here. And of course, after the break, we continue with the discussion. I do hope by the end of it, you will have picked out something. Maybe you will start up a Twitter account, maybe Facebook, but I don't think now we have money on Facebook, do we? We don't have. But after the break, Smart Means Business will continue and we discuss more of this. Stick around.